Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
We're so glad to have you this morning for the West Texas View, and my guest is someone that I've been needing to have on this program for a long, long time. I've had so many of our audience to call and say, we need to have something about real estate, buying and selling, and particularly in the hot markets around our Permian Basin area. And of course, real estate is such a volatile industry. One time it's a buyer's market, and one time a seller's market. So I was wanting a real estate agent that had had experience in all kinds of real estate, from commercial, residential, vacation homes, all kinds of farm and ranch properties. And I found just the perfect person. She has sold in small communities and big communities. She's been a real estate agent for over 40 years, and she has received many honors within the profession and has been named to the $1 Million Club many, many times. So join with me in welcoming Geneva Dodson, who is here to talk about and answer all of your questions about real estate, whether you're in the buying market, the selling market, or just think that you need this information for the future. Geneva, thank you so much for coming in today, and I want to start off by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be a real estate agent.
Johnny Lou, I was born in Hamlin, Texas, lived in Abilene and around Abilene all of my life. I had 5 brothers, and that taught me at an early age to be bold, resourceful,
and you really became one of those kinds of people that could outcompete anybody, and that's what you needed in the real estate profession. But also, your late husband was.
I was married to the police chief, Abilene police chief, for 30 years, and real estate fit real well with his career and around my 2 children. I've been in real estate over 40 years, as you said, and I've held a broker's license since 1970.
And what does the emeritus title that's rolling across the screen, what does that mean?
That means life member.
Okay.
Of the National Association of Realtors, but you have to be in real estate at least 35 years and active in order to receive that honor.
And you've been really involved and active in your real estate profession at the local level, the state level, and the national level, and that's really important to someone who's looking at finding a real estate agent that matches their needs, is to find someone that's got the ethics. I know one of the things I was looking at was the Realtor's Pledge, and that it essentially says I pledge to abide by the rules and the ethics and the laws.
That's true, and to be honest and fair in all your dealings with your clients.
And do you consider, because I've never really understood this, are you a seller's representative or a buyer's representative?
I represent whomever.
Okay.
Sometimes
if somebody comes and says, I'm looking for a house, would you help me find one?
Yes.
You're the buyer's representative.
Yes.
If somebody lists a house with you, and
then I'm the seller's representative.
Okay.
Yes. And it works real well for me because I have a lot of friends in real estate, looking for real estate, and a lot of them over the years that come back to me with wanting different properties, and so I just deal with all of them.
And how did you get into this wide range of doing everything from residential? Don't most people start with residential and then branch out? Or?
A lot do, but back when I came into real estate, very few women realtors were in the business, especially in Abilene, but I just, whatever anybody needed, I started doing it, and we didn't specialize back then. So nowadays they do specialize.
So you sold farm and ranch, and I know that you have been involved with some ranch property for my husband, so I know that was a very easy task for you to do as quick as you sold it.
Well, I just try to get to know the property before I ever advertise it or put it on the market. so I can answer their questions and feel like I know the property well enough to market it. And then I start trying to find a buyer for the property. If it's a buyer, then I try to put myself in their shoes. I try to find out what they're looking for, basically, and then as I start showing them properties, then have them come to, tell me what they like and don't like about a property.
And that way you further hone your
then I begin to see what they're actually looking for. And then I can go out even without them and look for properties that I think that will fit their needs.
And one of the things that I know you were involved in not too long ago was you sold a house, but you had to sell their house before they could take possession of the house they bought. So you really ended up selling 2 houses out of it.
Oh, yes.
And is that normal?
Well, that happens quite frequently.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
okay.
It does. I had one incident a number of years ago where we did a trade, and that was quite unusual. Where the people traded houses, but they've got to like each other's properties. So, and then
that would be really unusual.
Trying to explain the 2 contracts to the 2 buyers, because I had 2 buyers and 2 sellers and 2 couples.
So what if a person in Midland said, I want to sell my house because I'm moving to Abilene? Then would that realtor contact you in Abilene and say, I'm passing you off to this person, my client, to show houses?
Referrals. You can refer people, and I have done that numerous times, and I've had a lot of referrals. But I have also sold properties in Austin and San Marcos, Dallas. So,
and I know a lot of the small communities, Coleman, Comanche, and areas like that you sold houses in.
Oh yeah, I can sell them all over the state. But I have friends in Austin that wanted no one to represent them except me, and it was back before we had computers and cell phones, so it was quite interesting. But we worked it out, and it worked great, and I did, represented the buyer, and it was before we now have buyer representation.
Well, while we're still in this general phase, talk to us a little bit about how you go about choosing a real estate agent.
Well, basically, what I would do, look, if I were not a realtor and knowing what I do, is I would look for, if I'm going into a new town, then I would get the...
I'm going to have to interrupt you now because we've got just a minute, and I want you to go back and let's talk about that. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation with Geneva Dotson.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.